Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. With a dish set in hand, Theresa interrupts Alex. He can no longer use paper plates since he is a CEO. He proposes using leftovers to bless the plates. Theresa makes a suggestive remark about christening his plates. At Sloane's house, Xander frantically inquires about his chances of obtaining complete custody. She wants to make sure he receives it, but to do so, he must be just as dishonest as Sarah. They have to show that she is a pathological liar and mentally unstable in order to accomplish that. She was drugged, Xander says, so the last portion wasn't her fault. Sloane says she is ready to do whatever it takes to make sure Victoria is in his care. But he has to determine if he has the stomach for it when he keeps defending her. Sarah begs Justin in the square to prevent Xander from having sole custody of Victoria. Justin intends to use Xander's criminal history against him, but lying again about the paternity of her child isn't helping Sarah's case. Sarah understands she made a mistake and is divorcing Rex because she believed she was protecting Victoria. Justin speculates that Sloane will make the right decision too late. He is also concerned that Sloane will exploit her psychological problems against her. Sarah is certain Xander won't consent to that. Justin issues a warning that custody disputes bring out the worst in people, even those who once loved one another. Nicole runs into Eric at the hospital while he is waiting to see a patient who was a former parishioner. She waits for a prescription while sitting next to him. A reserved Nicole expresses her happiness for Sloane and his family as they talk about their adoption process. She hopes he will be able to fulfill his dream of being a father. She questions why they aren't employing a surrogate, though, so he can have a biological child. According to Eric, imparting his genes is less significant than imparting his love. He understands that he won't be able to have a child of his own. Konstantin offers to cook Maggie the Mediterranean feast he used to prepare for Victor at his restaurant after giving her a tour of Salem. A tearful Sarah returns home as he is doing this. When Maggie finds that Xander is suing for exclusive custody, she becomes furious. When she goes to call him, Sarah warns her that things might get worse. In addition, she ought to have paid attention to Maggie in the first place. Sarah is welcome to join them for supper as Konstantin enters the living room again. Theresa inquires about Alex's adjustment to being Victor's son while they eat at Alex's house. He admits that it's challenging to process and especially annoying because Victor isn't around to clarify. She responds that it's wonderful to be back in Salem when he inquires about Theresa, but she is unsure of her living arrangements. She asks coyly, "Got any ideas?" When he asks about her condition, she claims that her fashion design business is struggling due to supply chain concerns and that her savings were destroyed when her bank failed. Alex recommends her move in with him after she explains why she can't stay with her family. At her home, Sloane promises to return Xander's retainer if he isn't all in. Sloane warns Xander not to think about his options for too long when Melinda stops by. Melinda tells Sloane about her messy dispute with Chanel and Paulina after he departs, as well as how taking care of her brother makes the adoption process more difficult. The attorneys she sought advice from are worried about Colin's influence over her child. In a panic, Sloane begs Melinda to assist her in becoming Eric's mother. Melinda swears she will do everything it takes to have a child with Eric, not just for Sloane, but also because this might be her first profitable private practice case. Nicole requests a second copy of her genetic tests after the nurse has given her her medication. Hers was lost. If Eric should also get a copy, the nurse inquires. He chuckles uneasily. "This baby's father is not me," he said. Nicole and Eric comment on how awkward it was when the nurse left to obtain the report. Eric goes abruptly to visit his friend. The nurse explains that Nicole's report took some time because she wanted to make sure she had the whole thing when she brought it. An exhausted Kayla enters the pub looking for a glass of wine as Roman and Steve catch up there. Reject that. She'll be drinking vodka over ice. Steve gets up to punch Dimitri after she reveals that he chained her to a hospital bed. Kayla implores him to turn it over to the police. She says, taking a sip of her beverage, "I'm fine and getting better all the time." Why don't Roman and Steve also get drinks on her? She's suddenly Ma Barker, jokes Roman. Kayla simply wants to put this day behind her. She can forget, Steve argues, but he'll make Dimitri regret ever touching her. Theresa claims she didn't suggest living in at Alex's house. She wasn't, in Alex's opinion. He would prefer to have her as a roommate because he is not crazy about living alone. She has excellent plate taste and is pleasant company. They acted hastily in Greece, but perhaps they might take a step back and get to know one another better today. After approving the move-in, Theresa departs to check out of the Salem Inn. Alex is alone and anxiously scans the area. Alex hopes he didn't make a mistake as he prepares her room later. Maggie breaks down in tears as she eats baklava with Konstantin and Sarah in the Kyriakis living room. Since Victor left for Greece, she has not experienced it. Sarah describes Konstantin as a wonderful man before he departs to explore Salem. Maggie enjoys Victor's old friend's company. She feels closer to him as a result. It's almost miraculous that he arrived at that time. Sloane informs Eric that everything is going well with the adoption when he gets home. He will become a father before he realizes it. In the square, Xander confronts Justin and scolds him for not telling him about Victoria. According to Justin, he made an effort to persuade Sarah to be honest, but at least Victoria is still a newborn when Xander learned the truth. He suggests they suppress their rage and prioritize Victoria. Xander contacts Sloane after Justin exits. To ensure that he brings his young daughter home with him, he wants her to do everything it takes. Konstantin enters Theresa's Salem Inn room as she is getting ready. She believed she had instructed him to wait to hear from her in Greece. Why in the world are you here? Parker Jonas needs to go to Salem, according to Days of Our Lives spoilers. This hypothesis was proposed by fans on a well-known message board. Read on to find out more. Parker Jonas should visit Salem, according to the Days of Our Lives spoilers. Why isn't Parker Lane in Salem? Is a question that user Varlina asked on the SoapCentral.com message boards. In actuality, he is older than the other two SORAS victims. He should arrive right now. Chloe wouldn't need to be there, but it would be ideal if he was in town at the same time as she was. Gainier portrayed Parker for the final time in 2016. For his character to remain absent from Salem for so long is remarkable. This sparked a contentious debate on the message boards. As one supporter put it, "I don't know why Parker Jonas isn't in Salem, but I definitely think that he should be. He attended boarding school in New York," according to another user. Parker Jonas' presence in Salem without family would be pointless with Chloe gone. It would be ideal with Chloe still there, but he could still interact with the other kids in Salem. A third person commented, "Are we certain that it's Jonas? Was Chloe and Daniel still together when he was born?" Days of Our Lives spoilers indicate that Parker is actually what Salem needs. It might not be necessary to have Chloe Lane, Nadia Abdurlan, and his character together again. They might be together and not watching the show. Ariana Horton should go to Salem, according to some supporters. What about Ari? A user questioned. Why hasn't she arrived yet? Her parents are old enough to be retconned into becoming adolescent parents. Because one of Ariana's parents is in New Zealand and the other is, a different user said. Parker might make a comeback at some time. According to the Duo spoilers, it might occur after Chloe gets back. The characters might have a small family reunion as a result of this. Parker was a significant member of the family, therefore it would be wonderful if some of the characters mentioned him. What do you believe? Do you believe Parker Jonas should make a trip to Salem? Do you believe the community needs him? Comment here and share your thoughts. Thanks for watching if you like this video. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any updates.